Dude, have you guys ever had jalapeno kettle cooked chips? I swear, this is the best chip on planet Earth. It's second to, I would argue, salt and vinegar I actually would say non-kettle cooked salt and vinegar, just the regular, super, kind of closer to Pringles style chip.
Yeah, I don't know what the people at Lay's are doing, but I guarantee you in their HR department, they have some strategy in which they are looking for the top freaking scientists, chemical
Scientists.
chemists who know how to make a chip that will make a human being slavish, if you will, to whatever the flavor.
It's so good. It is. It literally, the kettle cooked version and the jalapeno is the greatest. Might be the greatest chip on planet Earth.
Yeah, if you are Delta Airlines, you're thinking, okay, there's two main roles that we have to really make sure that we get right. The pilots, because you don't want them guys. You don't want those guys flying into the dirt, right?
No.
But also the flight attendants. That's a very important role. That's Delta Airlines. But if you are Lay's potato chips, you are looking for people who are graduating with their PhDs in chemistry, hoping to change the world, and end up instead making the world's best tastiest chip. And I think Lay's, they've nailed that. So anyways, welcome to Upland. We're going to talk about some cool Upland stuff. And we may be eating a few Lay's potato chips as
Yeah,
we
let me
go.
have one more. Let me have one more.
Send it.
Like I've been watching my diet lately, but sometimes you can't pass up on a Lay's jalapeno kettle cooked chip. But I will tell you what, I at least limit myself to 10 or less if I consume
10 chips or less.
10 chips or less in a day, because I've been losing some weight. Maybe you've noticed if you've been watching the show.
All of the
I was 195 at the beginning of the year. I officially hit 163 yesterday. Indeed.
all of the
But
Upland
I will
fangirls out
celebrate
there.
with a chip.
All
and
the
I will
Upland
crunch it
fangirls
in
out
your
there
ear.
are all about Doyle and his 30 pounds of loss. I will say this, we are speaking as Americans. We call these chips. I have spent amount of time in Europe and UK. These are called crisps over there. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing. In the UK, one of the most popular crisps made again by the fine folks at Lay's is chicken-flavored crisps.
So they have the same style chips, but they're called
Crisps.
Well, what do they call kettle cooked? Should we look that up?
Yeah, that's a good question, I guess.
Lay's kettle cooked. Where do we look? England?
If you're here for Upland content, please stand by.
How do you even I don't know.
This is actually kind of embarrassing. Here's the thing. Lay's knows what they're doing.
Crisps.
And, crisps, chips, whatever you want to call them. They're amazing. But anyhow, so tonight we're not really here to talk about chips or crisps or even cultural discrepancies between language, but we're here to talk about Upland and some various strategies. Now, you noticed, if you are a watcher of the show, all four of you who watch this show, you'll remember that a few weeks ago, LOYLDOYL and I kind of had a little bit of a debate in which we kind of talked about the Santa Clara property release by Upland. I took one position and LOYLDOYL took another. Tonight we're going to take a little bit of a same approach in which LOYLDOYL will be presenting his strategy for how he is successful in the game. I'll be presenting my strategy as well. I will say this on the onset. LOYLDOYL is about a triple in value in this game than me. So maybe if that alone is the gauge or metric by which, oh my gosh, you're at 86 grand.
Yeah, let's just show it. So,
Like,
Currently, I'm sitting at
I'm just gonna eat a chip.
86 million, close to 87 million UPIX net worth. So this is my property value compared to my current liquid value of UPIX, which is currently 16,500,000 UPIX. So that's essentially $87,000. And I've invested $26,000 USD into the game to achieve at starting in November of 2020. So how long has that been?
10 months.
10 months, and I've pretty much more than tripled, actually. That's more than triple, right?
Make that happen, S&P 500. Now, here's the thing. In the process of doing so, not only has Loyal Doyle been wildly successful, but his wife has left him. His children have alienated him, and he's lost his employment. But none of that matters, really. What really matters?
It's true. I actually was divorced this year, which is why I had the liberty to invest $25,000 into a video game, because I sold my condo. And
in fact, let that be a lesson to you all. If you're contemplating or facing a divorce, Upland is a great way to hide cash from the attorney. From the attorneys.
Who's gonna be like, wait, they have $25,000 hidden in a video game that's worth money?
This is horrible advice, although it is very practical advice.
It actually is very practical advice. If you put some money into a video game, no one will go there to check how much money you have put into said video game and go. If you put it into Coinbase, if you're like going after regular crypto investments, maybe they'll come after you for how much money you've put into that. But put it into Upland, an app on your iPhone, they might not be very suspicious as to what happened to that $25,000, because it's gone.
And this is why we have a podcast, to bring to you, dear listeners, valuable information that will help you not only in the game of Upland, but in your life, your personal life. And so stay tuned for next episode when we talk about how to successfully launder money. But for today, though, we're going to be talking about various strategies in which you can be successful in Upland. We do have various episodes so far on this channel in which we talk about how to be successful in Upland. I think that was the title, in fact, of our very first episode in this show.
Indeed.
However, let's get into the nitty-gritty and talk about the strategy. So, Tyler, do you want to just kind of like unveil your strategy, because you've got some cool ones?
Yeah. So at a high level, I think we can just high level give where we're at. At a high level, my strategy is to hodl. And I think Upland is where Bitcoin was year 1 or 2, okay? And I think it is, I understand the most investing advice would be to get your money, your original investment out as soon as possible, just to protect like risk. If you doubled your money, maybe get half of it out. Like that's what a lot of people do in investing in the stock market and crypto. But I am so bullish on Upland that I think it's a little too soon to pull out, and I think any dollar amount you take out now is like taking out at least 10x what it will be worth in the next year or two. So I know that's a really strong opinion, but that's just where I'm at with Upland, and that's I'll be frank. My plan is to pay my next house off cash, at least a 4-bedroom house in the state of Utah, which will probably be at least $500,000.
At least.
So my goal is $500,000 from my $25,000 investment, $500,000 in the next 3 years or 2 years, and to buy a house cash. That literally is my goal.
Okay, so
And I am so convinced. Like I cannot. That's why I wanted to start this podcast to help more people realize that is a legitimate goal that I swear to you I believe with 100% will happen, and I'm convinced that it will happen. That's why I'm very bullish on this, and a lot of it because it's more than just making the right investment. It's also the right strategy, and that is why we try to release very specific content on this channel other than these podcasts where we talk about strategies that we employ to make more money in this game.
Okay, so let's rehash really quick. So when did you start? When did you first create your account in Upland?
I believe it was October or November of 2020. So how many months is it? 10 months?
About 10 or 9 or 10.
Okay.
Okay, so you created in let's just say November of 2020, and at the recording of this podcast, it is August 17th, 2021. Yep. So again, that's probably anywhere from 9 to 10 months. And you say you have put in your with your own money how much?
$26,000.
Okay, $26,000. And your current wealth right now is almost 87 million UPIX, which the conversion to US dollars is almost $87,000, assuming that you can bring that money out, take that money out for US dollars, which would be almost it's about 3.5 times what your initial investment is. Correct?
Yeah, and I actually believe if I were to cash out in this month, that I would have $100,000. Because if I were to sell all my properties that I know what they're worth, at least $100,000.
Okay,
and so that's at least 4x my money in less than a year.
But your goal is to kind of hodl and
make
stay
5 times that
in the long term and get about 5 to 6x.
Yeah.
So that you can take the money out at a certain point, so that you can afford to purchase.
Well, I'm already 4x, right? I'm close to it. I'm already
almost,
close to 4x.
Almost, yeah.
So what I'm looking for is actually probably 20x.
Okay, 20x
on my original investment.
20x, yeah. How much did you put in? 20 something?
Yeah.
Okay. So you times that by 20, yeah. So that would be about 500,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So when do you think that would happen?
I think that will happen in the next 2 years that I could have that much.
All right. So here we are.
Especially with the strategies that I do, I flip a lot. A lot of people hodl on their stuff. I like to every new city buy a lot and sell a lot.
Yeah.
And have more money for the next city.
Okay, so one thing we've learned from Tyler Doyle over here, or Loyal Doyle, is that he, number one, has a distinct goal in mind, meaning that he's not just here to have fun. He's not just here because he's a gamer. He's not just here because he wants to make some money or to hide his money from his estranged wife. But he is actually he has a figure in mind and a date in mind by which he hopes to accomplish that figure, which would be 2 years from now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say August of 2023.
Yep.
Okay. You hope at that point you will have at least 500 to 600 million UPIX, right?
Exactly.
That does not seem too far off given your trajectory to date, given that you have almost 4 times your value that you've put in over the last 9 months, meaning that over the next 3 years, I mean, it's reasonable if you keep up this rate, you could achieve the 20x that you're looking for. Okay, so tell us what your secret is and what it is you're doing. Obviously, you put a little bit of money in. Some people don't have.
Yeah, I really had a boom actually back in the Fresno, actually in the Clovis expansion of Fresno. I bought so many properties in Clovis. It was the first time I started buying and flipping. And I was flipping them for probably 150% minimum to 200%. So
wow.
I literally in 1 month went from like 30,000 UPX value to probably like 50,000 UPX value because I was just buying everything and And dude, the whole city sold out in probably a week. Okay.
This is Clovis.
This is
or
Clovis.
Fresno.
This is Clovis. This was probably around, I don't know, December or January of 2020.
Okay.
Or December 2020, January 2021. I don't remember exactly, but I was flipping a lot of properties, and I made a lot of money really fast. Way more than I'm making on my Coinbase account. Buying what I feel are I always buy when crypto dips.
Right.
I'm big into Chainlink. I'm big into Unibright. I'm big into Ethereum, and I buy when it dips. And even then, with the roughly the same amount of investment, I've probably made about $10,000 profit if I were to cash out today, because crypto's coming back up right now today, and if I were to cash out today, I would make $10,000 with that same rough investment. I have 4x'd my money. So 20,000 into crypto, I've made 30,000. 20,000, a little bit more into Upland, I've made 80,000. So that's just where I'm at, and I feel like Upland is actually a better investment. I feel like NFTs are a better investment than crypto right now.
NFTs generally, or NFTs in the metaverse?
Generally.
Okay. So, like, if you're an artist out there and you're creating NFTs, that would be more lucrative for you than to invest in the next, hottest token.
That's where I'm at. I think NFTs, if you do it right, especially in a game like Upland, I think Upland is honestly where I'm at. I think Upland is actually the best NFT. Like, they've announced that they're going to do an NFT portal, okay, where you can put your NFTs from other wax accounts, like other. They've already announced that there's an NFT portal coming where you can put your NFTs into Upland. We don't know all the details about that, but I think that's a really genius idea, to have a place where you can show off your NFTs that you own within a metaverse. Like, I think we're really close to having like museum type situations where individual players own their own museum and they're showing off their NFT collection in a museum type. You go to that building, you have to actually travel to Chicago or New York City or San Francisco to go to someone's building and see their and maybe even pay a fee because you want to see how cool their. Maybe that's 1,000 UPX, $1 essentially, and you get to enter their museum and walk around and see the different NFTs that they've collected. I think we're really close to that.
That absolutely makes sense, because how many of us have spent or are willing to spend, anywhere from $10 to $30 for an entrance into a kind of a more upscale art museum. Like, let's say we're on a trip, a family trip. We're thinking we're going to go to Paris or maybe San Francisco, and of course both of those cities.
Let's say it's actually Minnesota, because there was this museum in Minnesota I lived in Minnesota for about 10 months actually. And there was this museum that was free,
Really?
but they asked for donations.
Okay.
And I think the average person who went into that museum paid $5
Right.
to be like, hey, thank you for letting me. This is a great museum. Thank you for upkeeping it so well, and I will gladly give you $5 for my entrance per person.
This is Minneapolis?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
All right, so Paris, Minneapolis, it's all the same. So you pay entrance into a building to look at and appreciate art. You have an experience. It's not just to come and look at art, it's to have an experience. With NFTs, what you're saying is that there's no difference really in the physical environment of entering into an art museum in Minneapolis or Paris.
I mean, there's a little bit of a difference because they're paying a janitor to
Sure,
upkeep
yeah.
it,
You can
keep it
smell.
clean,
Yeah,
it's
you're
nice.
in the if you're in the Sistine Chapel, you're looking
Yeah,
up at the
it's
ceiling
nice.
where Michelangelo did his thing.
And they keep it really clean. So for sure, there's a little bit there, but at the same time, you're really there for the art.
You are there for the art, which is a great point because you could either spend about $6,000 on flights to Paris or $89 for flights to Minneapolis, depending on where you live, and view this art museum and have an experience. Or you could say, hey, friends, family, let's gather around. We're going to look at some art here digitally and appreciate that art. We're going to pay an entrance to get into this, to look at this art, and we may even purchase some art. Now, here's the thing. When you go into a physical environment, I use the Sistine Chapel as an example. Okay, Sistine Chapel, as we know, is that chapel in which Michelangelo painted the ceiling, where there's the famous painting of God reaching out to Adam, and Adam kind of casually reaching out to God, right? Making a comment about God's desire to reach out to us in as mankind, our casual response to God, right? If you were actually in the Sistine Chapel, that I would argue that's probably a more profound experience by being there physically than there would be if you were to go into the Sistine Chapel digitally. However, you have to think, okay, what strengths or what are the advantages of going into a physical environment? What do you expect to happen? Well, you might expect to see maybe the cracks in the paint at the ceiling. Maybe you're expecting to smell what that building smells like. Maybe you're expecting to see the caretaker of that particular building hobble around and do his little thing, and you think that all adds to the experience, right? And all that does, it's all 100% legitimate. Then you step outside into the into the European environment around the Sistine Chapel, and it all adds to that experience. Well, that's valid, but what is it about the metaverse that makes that experience more valid, or at least equally as valid, but in a different way, right? So what I'm saying is, in a physical environment, you're smelling things, you can touch things, right? You can see things, you
might get kicked out if you touch the paintings, though.
right, for sure. Yeah, good point. Okay, but in a digital environment, like, there has to be some advantages to what the digital experience might be that's different and maybe even more preferable than the physical environment, okay? So, like, for example, obviously, the cost of flights is going to be gone, right? You can go into a digital environment and experience the experience for free right there in your bedroom or whatever. That's not a great environment or a great advantage. It's the avoidance of a disadvantage. But there may be others, right? So you could zoom in. That's an advantage. You're sitting in the Sistine Chapel. You can't zoom into a particular feature. You're looking from 80 feet below from the ceiling, whereas in a digital environment you can zoom in and then you can see little helps that pop up. For example, maybe some media that may make the experience more rich. Anyhow, the point is, there are advantages to both mediums, and by mediums I mean either physical or digital. So don't just disregard, I should say, the digital NFT experience with some sort of like museum. In the metaverse.
It's more than just Upland who's going in this direction where they are really emphasizing this kind of museum-like experience, where you go in and you get to see a collection that someone has put together. Even on that Paramount Plus episode that we watched, the first one of the two, Upland was featured on the second episode, but the first episode of the NFT and the metaverse, I think is what the two episodes were called, featured that one player who purchased. Do you remember what the cost was? Remember what the cost? He purchased that.
Was it $40 million or something like that?
Yeah, like $40 million from the one guy who put but it was like 80,000 pieces of art or something. Sorry, I'm totally getting this wrong.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
The guy had made art for like 8 years or something.
Yeah, it was like $20 million.
Yeah. But that guy was showing a similar experience where he was interested in a digital world that shows digital art in a museum-like experience. And Upland, I think, is one of the very few that are pushing this experience. And this is why I'm so bullish on Upland. I think we haven't even seen the beginning of what really the future of this looks like. Today we had a small experience in as UCN, Upland Contributor Network broadcasters. We had a little bit of an experience where we got to see some of the features that are coming. It's amazing. It's amazing what's coming. I can't talk about all of it, but the way they're integrating with other third-party technologies and going to make that, they're essentially making the NFT marketplace more usable, more user-friendly, and more accessible to the users.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does make sense. So
the NFT marketplace currently is very, how do I say, very clunky. There's not a great user, especially Wax. And Wax is one of the most popular NFT marketplaces, and it's a very clunky experience. It's it's not the most Upland is a very user-friendly experience comparatively to most NFT experience. I would actually say Upland is 10 times ahead almost every other NFT experience out there. It's one of the only ones that's mobile, app-based. I think it's the only game that's mobile app-based. But once they bring in NFTs coming in from Wax and all these different sources, that's amazing.
Yeah, I would say that I don't have a whole lot of experience with the NFT marketplaces that are in existence. I would say that, and I would also say in a positive light that Upland has made strides in their user interface, hoping that they'll make more.
For sure.
Okay, so there's that. Okay, so back to your strategy. So what you're saying is you go in when a new city is minted and you purchase low value properties, you don't necessarily chase the high dollar ones, although I know you do.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
If it's in a high value collection, I will pay the highest price I can afford. If it's in a rare or ultra rare collection, I will pay multiple thousands of dollars for that property.
But the majority of your properties, we're looking at the screen here.
Well,
You
we
have-
can go to it.
Okay, you have almost 4,000 properties. I have like 25%. I have like a little over 1,000 properties right now. But clearly, your 3,800 properties are not all rare properties or in collections. Given that you have 96 collections, and on average, a collection has, anywhere from 2 to 5 properties in that collection, meaning that out of 389 properties, or
in
3,000,
Chicago alone, I have 1,340, and most of those are under $5.
Okay.
Under 5,000 UPIX. So yeah, I have a strategy of buying a lot of low-cost properties, because the first thing to rise in Upland is the floor cost, the lowest cost properties, like Manhattan, for example. Like let's look really quick. Let's go to Manhattan. It's hard to get a view of just Manhattan. You gotta like zoom in right here. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/The Upland Show, you can see where we're sharing our screen. Let's just see, even that pulls up Brooklyn. Let's just pull like right in this area of Manhattan. The lowest cost property you can buy is 49,000 UPIX.
Wow, really?
But there was a time when you could buy a bunch of properties for $6.
Wow.
In fact, let's actually go to Harlem. Like Harlem area, this is where you could buy a bunch of properties for really cheap. Okay. There it is. 32,000 UPIX, or $32. But those are just the ones going for USD. 35,000 UPIX. So you could have bought 1,000 properties for $6, and they're now minimum worth $35.
Okay, so if you work that math, that's like you're basically saying you spend $6,000 and now you can return, you can get in return about $30,000 to $35,000.
Yeah.
And you're just saying that's not using the ultra rare properties. That's not buying the ultra.
No, that's just the floor.
That's just the floor. Although you're looking at right now these tier 1 cities, right?
Yeah, that's a tier 1 city.
I mean,
But
like
so is
Bakersfield.
Chicago. And guess what? Chicago is still available right now at the recording time of this podcast. Look, let's zoom. Let's go to a city. One of my favorites, Inglewood. There's this one called.
I am addicted to these chips.
There's one called I Am Addicted to These Chips.
They're so good.
Brighton Park. I love Brighton. But look, if I go to this property, okay, I'm gonna send to it right now. I bought this one for $4.75. Okay, let me zoom in. Let me click on my dude. Let me see the properties that are within distance, and look, $5. Okay, let me buy this right now.
And what you're saying is you're buying this property right now. All those properties right now are for sale at the floor price, which is around $5 each.
I have the
and
authentication on so that I don't lose all my.
And what you're saying though is LOYLDOYL is that if you were to buy all of these at the $5 price within 6 to 8 months, Chicago, being a tier 1 city,
I think it'll be at the similar price, at least $25.
at least $25,
in 6 months.
and you're buying
Every
it for $5
property.
right now. So
Yeah.
that's 5x in 6 months.
That's 5x in 6 months. Like, why am I not buying all of these right now?
Right.
Maybe that's the right strategy.
So that's one strategy. Okay, so The purpose of this video, or today's episode, is to talk about various strategies, and one of the strategies is to buy the floor, meaning you're not chasing these top dollar properties.
$4.62.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll buy it. Yep.
Let's just see the street on that. I just want to see. This is the thing
Mozart
I love.
Street, 4247
I just want to see
South.
the street view. This is the thing I love the most. Click the street. Yeah, I just want to see the. Okay, so
Look, it's got a nice minivan out front,
nice
family
little
neighborhood.
family house, nice tree-lined streets.
Yeah,
Okay, you
it's
just
great.
bought that for $4.60. Now, what you're saying though is then about 6 months, maybe a year,
Now,
you're gonna.
within 6 months, that will be worth 5x what I just paid for it.
So if you compare that to the stock market, even the aggressive S&P 500 or the because there's the stock market and there's the technical stock market. What's the technical one called?
I don't know. I'm an idiot.
All
Don't
about
ask me.
technology companies.
I'm just gonna keep buying.
Anyways, the
properties.
point is that the traditional means of investment do not have the means of return. Now, in crypto world, people are like, okay, yeah, sure. We all have heard the stories of people who have spent $38 and in 8 months they cash out for $6.5 million. But what we're not hearing is all the 14 million people who have put in $8,000 on that crap coin and have lost their shirt. So just I'm going to dismiss you, crypto guy. But the thing is with Upland is that in addition to these properties increasing over time, there's no risk of the properties decreasing over time. They will not decrease.
No, they don't decrease.
They'll never decrease.
They at least keep their current value.
At least keep their current value. They will never decrease. So if you mint a property.
Yeah, I think Chicago's going to sell out within another month or two.
See,
okay?
that kind of makes me want to go ahead and start buying more properties.
Chicago has a lot of properties, okay? But here's the thing. This Chicago let me share the screen. This initial, if people are new to the game, the first collection they're going to go for is this in each city, the first collection in each city. I think when people are new, they're not going to go for the ultra rare Mafia properties because the cheapest one you can find at that point is probably $10,000, okay? So they're going to be like, okay, my goal as a new player is to get all the blue properties, okay? So they're going to go for all these blue properties, these blue collections, and these ones are going to say the cheapest one you can buy is $25 per property.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, I'm in. I want to get one of each of those because they're going to keep going up. Because I think in 5 years from now, I legitimately think 5 years from now, the cheapest property you can buy in Upland is $100.
Really?
Minimum.
5 years from now, $100.
Yeah.
Even like Bakersfield.
Yeah, even anything. I think every property in the world in Upland will be worth $100. Again, that's just me. Within 5 years from now,
which is why you're holding.
which is why I'm holding. But what's your strategy?
Okay, so great segue. Okay, so I agree. I think there's a great future in store for Upland. I think it's going places. I have heard some rumors about some very strategic partnerships in the works that will bring hundreds of thousands of new players into this game. So I expect that Upland will actually blow up. I actually agree with you, LOYLDOYL, that this is like Bitcoin in maybe not the first year, but maybe the fourth or fifth year. Maybe it's not the 18-cent Bitcoin, but maybe it's more like the $180 Bitcoin. Either way, it doesn't matter. The point is we're in the infancy of this game, and I think there are hundreds of thousands of players that will come into this game rather soon. We are right now, if you're watching this video, and if you are a Uplander, you are one of the early adopters. We're all familiar with the scale in which you have the early adopters, and then you have the bell curve at the top where there's the mass adoption, and then it tailors off to everybody's doing it. But right now we're at the beginning of that bell curve, where most of us here in Upland are early adopters. But soon, there will be things that will be unveiled by the developers of Upland that will accelerate the process by which new players come into this game.
Yeah, they keep talking about new partnerships that are coming that are going to be big.
Yeah, so I agree.
I think know what those are, though.
Yeah, I think the floor is going to grow. I think the value of each property that has been made available within the game will only continue to increase. I will say this, though, as a more
skeptical,
maybe skeptical is a word, or maybe cautious, or maybe conservative. I would say conservative.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good word for it.
I like the idea that I initially entered this game with a large amount of money, because we all know that when you enter this game, Upland will initially reimburse you, or times your investment by 1.5. 1.5. So, for example, if you throw $1,000 into this game, you'll immediately have the equivalent UPX of 1,500, which is, that's immediately 50% increase.
Yep.
Upon entry. So
that's why we put our referral links in the description on every
that's
video.
Right. That's right. So
use those if you're new.
Yeah. So I sent it, man. I put in as much as I could that I was available. I'm not a high roller by any means, but I did what I could and put as much as I could into this game so that I could maximize my 50% return immediately. Okay, so I do agree that this game is growing, but what I do want to do, though, is I want to capture as early as possible. I want to pull out of the game my initial investment so that I have now my initial investment, my initial principal that I put into this game is back safely in the bank, and that all the properties...
You're now functioning at a risk-free...
100% risk-free. Yeah, so in other words, everything that is still left or retaining in the game within my account at Upland is 100% risk-free.
And hopefully that's maybe double your initial investment. For example, if you put in $1,000 into the game and you get $1,500 value from that referral bonus, which you definitely should use if you haven't joined. Use referral bonus. So you put in 1,000 and you now have 1,500. Get that by then. Hopefully you still have 1,000 remaining. Hopefully you still have your kind of initial investment worth once you get your money out.
Absolutely.
So let's say you put in 20,000. Hopefully you were able to get $20,000 out, and you still have $20 million UPX in the game to net worth to grow with.
Yeah.
I think that's a good goal.
Okay, so the reason why I do that is because I am a crypto investor, okay? And in fact, my good friend LOYLDOYL here actually is the one who got me started in crypto, because I'm this old curmudgeon who just goes about his daily life.
Kermit the Frog here.
And Tyler actually introduced me to crypto just less than a year ago, and once he introduced me, I got hooked. So I absolutely am addicted to the crypto industry. Anyhow, the reason why I say that is because there's an established strategy within crypto that you don't just buy crypto and hold, and as asset that you've researched and purchased at the lowest possible price that you could, as that price now is starting to go to the moon, that asset is going to the moon. You don't just sit there and wait for the next 6 years for that to 100x. What you do is after about 20 to 50% of profits, you take out about 25% of whatever the profits is. And then as you continue in your trajectory to the moon, you take out another small.
Yeah, the goal is get back your initial investment as soon as possible.
Yeah, because
most
then
of these crypto technologies.
Yeah, because then at that point you're now playing with free money. Like you've taken out your initial investment, and now the rest of the value that's in that crypto asset as it's increasing is completely free money.
So you put in money, you double your investment, you take out half of that investment, which is now what you originally put in.
Right.
And now the rest of that is all profit.
It's 100% profit.
Play with it as much as you want.
And there's zero risk.
Because you don't lose any money.
Yeah. And that's what so that's an established strategy within the crypto world. And by the way, that has come across from the stock market. If you're a stock market investor, you know that's a very established strategy. This is an established strategy within crypto, although I suppose the rates are a little bit different given the volatility of crypto.
Yeah.
But now within the metaverse, within Upland, my strategy is to apply that same pattern into into Upland, maybe with some different thresholds. And by what I'm saying is like, yeah, I put a lot of money into this. I got immediately I got a 50% return, right? Because the game gives you that, right? I start making investments. I start making purchases. I have right now about 1,300 properties right now. But I would like in the next 6 months to recapture my initial investment.
Yeah.
And ideally, I will still have a good amount of UPX or value still in the game in which I can continue to play and make new profits at that point. Now, I won't necessarily have the 5x that you're experiencing right now, but at the same time, I have minimized my return. My significant other is not beating me up over the head with a rolling pin, I'm making now more money without any risk.
And I may be one of the oddballs out there who thinks that getting out right now is like getting out of Bitcoin in year 2. Like you hear that guy who bought a pizza for like 2,000 Bitcoin.
Right. Oh my
right?
Gosh. That guy's probably committed suicide by now. That poor
Like that guy had 2,000 Bitcoin.
Did he really buy a pizza for 2,000 Bitcoin?
Like year 2 of Bitcoin, he purchased pizza.
Dude.
A freaking $5 pizza. Maybe let's say it was worth $20. He bought it for 2,000.
All right, 2,000 Bitcoin.
Let's say
times
Bitcoin is what right now? 40,000.
$40,000. Oh my gosh, it's $80 million. That's
$80 million. He bought a pizza with it. So what I'm saying is, I think Upland is the Bitcoin of NFTs. That's where I'm at.
Upland or the metaverse?
Upland of NFTs.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think Upland is Bitcoin of the NFTs. I think Upland is doing something different that nothing else is doing. I know other people have made big money in other NFT projects like CryptoPunks,
right.
NBA Top Shot, all sorts of different projects. But I think as far as the average person making good money, I think Upland, anybody can come in. In fact, I'm trying to convince my dad to put in $25,000 right now.
Into Upland?
Into Upland.
With your referral code?
With my referral code.
Smart move, bro.
And
do it, Dad.
Make a YouTube series where we double his money in 3 months.
Nice. That's a good idea.
That's
a great idea.
An out there idea.
That's a great idea.
But to prove to people that you can double your money in Upland in maybe it's 6 months.
Yeah.
But how many projects out there can you guarantee double your money in 6 months? That's a big ask.
That's a huge deal.
I
yeah.
know that in crypto, if you buy the right day, you can double your money the next day. Okay.
It happens, but those are rare.
It's super rare.
Yeah.
And you have to be super smart to be able to achieve that. You have to have insider information most
You really
of the time.
do. You really do.
But I'm saying I think the average person out there can double their money in Upland in 6 months. So whatever you're willing to put in, and I think that's even a conservative. I would like to think 3 months at the rate of growth this game is currently having, that people can double their money. So 3 months, double your money. That's why I'm like, why would I settle for double the money when I could have 10x my money in 2 years?
So I will push on that just a little bit. So I've been in this game since April and May. And I have probably increased my value by about 8%. Now, that's on me. That's not on the game. It's on me because I don't feel like I have the time to spend to listen to all the Discord announcements and all the little games they're playing and the little treasure hunts that they're doing constantly. I'm like, I do have a job and I have to stay employed. So for me to double my money, I think it's going to take me at least a year or so. But that's only because I'm more of a casual player than the hardcore guy like yourself.
That's a fair point. I think it does take a time investment, and you have to study, use tools like Upix World. We'll show it here.
Because in crypto, you can buy shit. You can buy stuff, and leave it alone. And then within you check back at it, and all of a sudden it has exploded without you doing anything. But in Upland, it requires you to cultivate what it is you've planted. It's like farming, right? You plant some seeds. You don't just plant seeds and then go to bed for 6 months and wake up and harvest this amazing bounteous supply of, corn, soybeans, whatever farmers do. But
corn, soybeans.
Right. Beans and tomatoes and all that. You don't do that. Crypto, you could buy, a bunch of crap, and you could, travel to, you could be in prison for 7 months, and you can come out of prison after 7 months and look at your crypto holdings, and you're like, damn, I just made $2 million while I was in jail. Not so with Upland. You've got to kind of cultivate it. You've got to nourish it. You've got to daily prune. You've got to make sure.
I would say if you mint a bunch of properties, though, if you're minting from the game and you're hodling, you hold
right
for 6 months.
Yeah. No, that's true.
That you can 5x your money.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you said earlier, double your money within a month or two or something like that. That
3 months.
3 months. Okay. That's
I think
possible.
It's possible.
I think it's definitely possible.
That's why I want to push myself to get my dad to do it, help him manage his account, make YouTube videos about it, put it out there, and see if it's a goal that I can achieve.
I think it's awesome.
It's ambitious for
it's
sure.
It's ambitious and it's exciting.
But I think for sure in 6 months, it's possible. Nothing else gives you a 1.5x your investment up front either.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. To me, the greatest good that comes from Upland is the lack of risk. I put my money in there. I don't have to go, when I go to, okay, here's the thing I hate about crypto. I love crypto. I love it. I'm excited about it.
It's an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, man. I'll go to bed and I'll look at my crypto holdings, especially my main bags, and I'm looking at them going, all right, it looks pretty good.
I kind of want to check right now.
Things are looking good. 8 hours later when I wake up, I look at my phone, I'm like, what happened? Did Elon Musk tweet something again? I'm going to beat that guy. So things can happen while it's just constantly moving, right? With Upland, you set your strategy, you buy your properties, there's nothing that's going to reduce the value of what you have purchased and or listed. It's going to stay at least at the same value. Now, it can only increase. It just takes time, and it takes time for you to take your money out. That's the only drawback to Upland, in my opinion, is that it takes time. But if you get time, again, remember Warren Buffett's.
Just like even the stock market, same rules apply.
Yeah.
I literally think Upland right now, I know I'm bullish on it. I will admit, I've admitted at the beginning of this episode, sure. I'm a fanboy. I'm bullish on it. But the proof is in the pudding, man. I've been in crypto for the same amount of time I've been in Upland, and I have not even close, even in the highest, a few months ago when crypto was at its highest
in May,
I had doubled my money. Okay, right. I had doubled my money.
And
I was stoked.
Now you're 4x.
And now Upland. I'm back to like only 20%, 50% increase of my money in crypto. Yeah. Okay, but in Upland, I'm still at a 4x investment at the same amount of time, and guess what? I feel I could get that out tomorrow. Yeah. The Upland market is not going to crash tomorrow. That makes my 86,000.
Dude, you're like tomorrow. You will literally be 87,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the end all be all summarization comment that I'll make, and Tyler will make a better one than me. But I'll just say this: there are a number of strategies that are out there. Tyler professionally is trained as a digital marketer.
I love to look at data, and numbers all day.
Currently,
so
my
it's
role
an advantage that I have.
Yeah, my role currently is in sales, and which is like for me, at least in my current role, is all about people and relationships. The point is that there's probably a lot of you out there who have had experience in real estate or investments or NFTs or crypto or stock market or whatever. You will, given your own experience, craft your own strategies. We would love to hear from you about what your strategies are. And if your strategies are compelling enough, we would love to invite you to be on this show, whether you Zoom in, call in, or physically visit us here in Salt Lake City, Utah. But we would love to have anybody here on the show to talk about your particular strategy. We talked around the strategies. We didn't get super specific, but the point is that the sky is the limit on what you can do, what works for you, and how you and it's all dependent on what your goals are as well.
Yeah, and eventually we actually want to do these episodes live on YouTube, youtube.com/The Upland Show. Not going to stop shouting that out. I love shouting that out because YouTube is my favorite. If you're watching on if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or Google Podcasts, come check us out on youtube.com/The Upland Show, where we will very soon be doing these episodes live and interacting live with the community, maybe even live Q&A every episode, at the end of every episode or beginning of every episode. Yeah. We'll be interacting with the community. We're trying to build a following right now. Yeah. But once we reach kind of certain numbers, we will be doing these live every week and answering live Q&A.
That's right.
Both McSqueeb and I have put a significant investment into this game, and I believe we're both in the top 100 players or so.
I mean, you're in the top like 1%. I'm in the top like 80%.
No. We're both I think we're both in the top 100 at least.
Oh, that's cool.
And we put a significant amount of money into this game.
Yeah, we're serious about it.
We're serious about it, and we'd love to answer questions from those who maybe are still questioning if they should put that kind of money into this game.
You can trust us because we are not affiliated with Upland or its developers.
We could lose all our money tomorrow if this game tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if you go back to a couple episodes ago, we were very, very, very frank about some of the things that we were disappointed. At least I was, about how they released the Santa Clara properties. And so we will always, in future episodes, continue to provide you with an unbiased presentation about what the latest advancements are in the game of Upland. We are bullish on Upland. We absolutely are. We will not invest money into something we're not bullish into. But at the same time, it's not perfect. We have recommendations. We hope things are improved. But I'm telling you, from the things that we've heard from some of the developers that we cannot share, you better get in right now, because in the next 90 days, if you didn't get into it now before the next 90 days, I'm telling you, you will regret it for years to come, because
I agree.
There are things happening.
They've told us at least that announcements are yet to come that are big.
Dude, and some of these announcements are earth-shattering announcements that will absolutely take this game 100x. And so you've got to get in right now and follow some of these strategies. Go in there and start buying cheap strategies, in Chicago or wherever, and just wait. Just hodl that stuff and just wait. You know what? It's not going to go anywhere. Your money's not going to drop.
Double, triple, and just sit on it.
And just sit on it.
Eventually, it will all sell.
Your wife will be happy with you.
If you want to just double your money, you could do that in guaranteed less than a year.
You tell me any stock in which you can put your money in, and then in a year you can double your money without any risk of your investment decreasing. Tell me that stock, because I want in on it. Because I'm telling you, it is called Upland. And that's where you're going to do this money. That's where you're going to make this money.
Thanks for watching YouTube. Spotify, iTunes, all the places you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. Please give us a like, comment. Please let us know your thoughts. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you agree. We respond actually to every single comment.
We do, and
on our YouTube channel. That's something we got to stick to until we have like 10,000 subscribers. I think that's something we can stick to.
We absolutely can, and I'm telling you, let us know also what your favorite Lay's chips and or crisps are. We would love to know, because we're big fans.
Yep. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Love you.